Hey guys, today's video is all about creating a well-balanced layout using stickers, stamps, and die cuts. And I'm going to show you how to do that on your next scrapbooking layout. Hi, I'm Katie Taylor at scrappinkaty.com, where I show you how to preserve your family's memories through the art of scrapbooking. So for this collab, I have pulled out a few photos of me cutting my daughter's hair. And this is one of the things we don't do often, but every once in a while her hair gets pretty long and she's just kind of an even Steven, is what we call it. So there's really no need to take her to a salon or anything. So this is how we got ready for the school year and into summer, as you will, and matching the theme for this month's collab. And then I've gone ahead and I've pulled out some things that I think I'm going to use. Again, pulling from the colors in her pajamas. And then, of course, all of this stuff in our bathroom. So I've pulled out an old 6x6. It's called Sunshine and Rainbows. It is from Stampin' Up. And I'm thinking that there might be a few patterns in there. And the reason I've pulled this is because the main paper collection that I'm going to be using is the A Little Latte. Because I think that this pattern right here is going to go really well with that. Now, this isn't going to be all the pattern, but I think I'm going to pull in, you know, it's got the blue and it's got the pinks and the yellows. So I'm going to pull in some of that, but I'm going to need some help. And so that's where the 6x6 is going to come in. And as far as the embellishments, I've pulled some of the ephemera packs. And again, I'm just going to pull from the colors. A lot of people make the mistake of thinking that since this is us cutting hair, that I need to have some sort of hair cutting apparatuses. I need to have maybe a girl in a salon. I need to have a mirror. I need to have all those things. And that's fine. That's just not my mode of scrapbooking. I like the photos to tell the story, and then I like my embellishments to just kind of complement. So you can definitely tell what I am doing here. The title will also say that. So I can pull in just some generic ephemera to kind of help along with that story and more of what she's wearing. These pajamas are definitely one of her favorite. These photos are old, but they were one of her favorites. And so just by looking at some of the ephemera on here and looking at these photos, it's going to make that memory come back. And that's what scrapbooking is all about, is telling those stories. So I'm going to get some pieces cut and then we'll come right back and start this layout. I'm going to speed up the rest of this video, but I want to walk you through some of the processes. So you can see here, I'm just taking some of those strips of paper that I've cut, again, from A Little Latte. I also used the Brights 6x6, and then, of course, that Sunshine and Rainbows. And I am just laying down these strips. Now, like I mentioned before, this is part of a monthly collab that I am doing with some of my crafty friends. Some of us are Stampin' Up! Demonstrators. Some are just people who love to scrapbook and craft. And so we've come up with this sketch group. Now, the sketch I'm using today is from one of our members, Kelly. And she has created the sketch. She created it several years ago, but that is what we are using this month. And the theme is end of summer, hence the getting ready for school haircut in our bathroom. So you can see that I am just laying down these strips. Again, kind of going with the sketch. As you remember, that sketch is a 2-page sketch. I have only decided to use the left side, again, because I only have 3 photos here. So I am almost done with putting down these pieces of pattern paper. Now there is a lot of pattern, but by using some of these subtle patterns, especially in the Brights and that Sunshine and Rainbows, it doesn't really clash all that much. Now I've put the before picture on the bottom left, and then of course that 4x6, and then the after picture, I decided to do it kind of straight and it's on the right. I am going to pull some of the ephemera pieces. Again, trying to match the colors and not really the haircut theme, but more of a school theme, a bright, happy theme. So those little images that I'm pulling, you can see how those kind of play along with that theme. Now, these are the tags, and I've pulled this one out because I need to kind of match that green in the typewriter. That green is nowhere else on this layout. I do find a good replacement for that, so I'm going to put these up. I am going to look at the flowers just in case I find one, but I really wanted to keep flowers off of this layout. I'm not really a huge flowery person. So as far as my title, I'm cutting it from Calypso Coral cardstock, and I am using the mini alphabet dies. And I just cut 2 sheets again because I'm going to need multiple vowels and some of the consonants. So I'm just going to punch out getting ready. And then while I am deciding on the final touches for my title, I'm going to go ahead and just take my finger and kind of rough up these edges. This is something I like to do if you are new here. I usually, when I'm having a hard time deciding on the next step, I usually go to the thing that I'm sure about. So that's why I decided to rough up those edges. Now, I am using probably the first stamp set that I ever purchased from Stampin' Up. It is one of the cling stamps or the red rubber, and this is called Here Together. And I love these little hands making the heart. My daughter does that all the time. I mean, I think every teenager does that. So I've done that, and then it has these kind of like call out marks. So I am going to just stamp those around the photos, and I am using Misty Moonlight, and it goes really well with that dark color on those rainbow pattern paper. Now I'm going to cut out these hands, and then I am going to show you a trick. I really wanted to cut out the center of the hands. So in order to do that, if you'll take your hole punch and just punch a hole, that allows you to get the tip of whatever little micro scissors that you're using in that little tiny space. And you can see that I'm just going to cut out the center of these hands, and then it just adds so much. I could have colored the heart, but I really wanted that pattern paper to kind of peek out from behind. So now I've decided on my title, I'm going to also use the word for. So I'm just finding FOR. I've found that. And then for the rest of my title, I'm going to pull out some old stickers here in just a second. Now, as far as the ephemera goes, I want to use this kind of little spot right there. That's another way to balance your layout. You see that I have a lot of up and down on this layout. And then I have a lot of across, but it's toward the bottom, and you need to kind of bring that across up into those pieces that are kind of going toward the top. So that's where this little cluster is going to come in. So I've got the label, I've got the typewriter, and then I've got this little set of books. Again, the typewriter and the book, the set of books just kind of have to do with the school theme, if you will. Now, as far as the hands, I'm going to try several of some colored pencils that I have, trying to figure out which one is going to work best. I think I've found 2 that I'm going to do, so I'm going to loosely color these, and then I used an eraser to kind of smooth out the edges. These are not watercolor pencils, so sometimes an eraser helps with that. Here is where I've pulled out some old stickers. Now, originally, I didn't know what stickers I wanted, so I've liked those gold. The thing about stickers, it's okay to use stickers. You can see here, balance layout. I've got stamps, stickers, and die cuts. The only thing that bothers me about stickers is you run out of letters, of course. So you'll see as I'm thumbing through these, if I find one that I like, I'm having to actually kind of make sure that school, all 6 letters are in there. So I'm going to look in the second bin. I'm really liking these, but I do not have an H, I believe, so I put those back. I'm kind of liking the brown, even though we haven't really brought brown into this, even though I've got a little latte in there. And then I found these typewriter stickers. So that is actually going to replace those other typewriter stickers that are brown. And then once I pull those, I decided to pull the other brown letters as well. So I'm going to go with the little typewriter ones. And the reason I went with these, it's a real dark blue. These were old Close to My Heart stickers. And I think it's going to match really well with that Misty Moonlight ink that I've already used. Now, because these are old stickers, I want to make sure that they're really going to stick. I even do this with new stickers. There are so many of my layouts that I've picked up, years and years later, and sometimes those stickers are just at the bottom of my memory protector. So it's always a good idea to go ahead and add some extra glue, maybe some glue dots, just to make sure that all the work that you're doing to preserve your family's memories doesn't go in vain or isn't done in vain later on. So I've got getting ready for, I am attaching with liquid adhesive. Now I've put the ready to the left of the G, and it's going to space out really nicely once I get the 4 down as well. Then I'm going to bring out school. Now remember that I pulled these tall, skinny gold letters. So right here, I'm just kind of making sure where those 6 letters are going to land. They're not the exact letters, but you can kind of get an idea by doing this with your sticker sheet. Again, going ahead and adding some extra adhesive on the back of those just to make sure they stick. So I've got SCHOO, and then I did not have an L. So I am going to do some surgery on an E. So I've cut an E from the carrier sheet, and then I'm just going to snip off those, the top and then that middle bar. And then voila, I have an L. I'm going to glue that down, and for the most part, my title is done. I am going to add some more stamping to this layout by way of underneath these hands. Now those hands are added with some 3D foam tape. And I am pulling out this stamp set called This Happened. Now this is one of the stamp sets that was released by Stampin' Up, designed by Close to My Heart. It sold out really, really fast. And if you can't tell why by the end of this layout, then I can tell you. It's got tons and tons of sentiments. You can see here, I stamped Remember up at the top, Don't Forget at the bottom, and then I'm going to stamp Love This to go under those hands. Now, one thing I love about me cutting my daughter's hair is it just brings back so many memories, not only of me cutting her hair, but it also brings memories back from my childhood. So my mother loved to give me perms, and believe it or not, I loved receiving perms. But when I was little, me and my sister, anytime she would wash our hair, she would do it in the kitchen sink for some reason. Anytime she would give us a perm, it would be done in the kitchen sink, all the rinse and repeat. And so what we would do is she would clear the counter of the kitchen, and we would lay down on our back with our head over the sink, and that's how she would rinse our hair. And so when she would do this, she would take on the fake persona of someone called Gladys. And so I'm so glad that I'm able to make memories like this with my daughter as well. So I've pulled out my gold paint markers. I absolutely love these markers. I used them on a layout a couple of days ago. It's just going to kind of add a pop and then kind of play nicely with that school title. And it also is going to be used in some of my 31 days of Christmas cards. Registration is open, so make sure you click the link down below to join us on there. And I've finished all the doodling, going to go ahead and attach that Love This. And then I'm going to take a look at these gold stickers. Now remember, I have the gold paint pen, I have the gold title, but I do want to add some gold hearts. To create a well-balanced layout, you have to have the same elements multiple places, and that way it looks cohesive. So you can see here all those gold little touches. I love the roughing of the paper that I did with my fingernail. I love this little grouping of the typewriter and the book. Here are some close-ups of those elements. Remember that if any of these products are available, I'll leave the links down below and you can order them from my website. If you were inspired but maybe not in a position to order from my website, remember that you can leave me super thanks, leave me a comment, share with your friends. There are many ways that you can support me and my channel. Don't forget to head on over to the collab playlist where you can check out all the other girls that are playing along with this month's collab featuring the sketch and the theme End of Summer. Thanks and have a wonderful weekend.